I am now calling to order this December 18th meeting of the Center City Schools Board of Education. We will start off by taking public comment on closed session agenda items. Those items are B1, student readmissions, and B2, student expulsions. Do we have any public comment cards or any public comments?
President Medina, there are no public comment cards.
Thank you. We will now recess to closed session and return at 6 o'clock. We are now reconvening the December 18th, 2024 meeting of Center City Schools Board of Education. If you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for our territorial land acknowledgement. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing, our incoming trustee, Nick Caston, will lead us in our territorial land acknowledgement.
I acknowledge that Santa Rosa City Schools is on the traditional territory of homelands of the Pomo people, traditional territory and homelands of the Coast Miwok people, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. This land acknowledgement calls on us to commit to continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty and will work to hold Santa Rosa City Schools more accountable to the needs of American Indian and Indigenous peoples.
Thank you. You may all be seated. Okay, we're gonna move on to a report of actions taken in closed session. During closed session, the board approved 4 readmission cases number 2023/24-17, 2023/24-18, 2023/2419, and 2023/24-20. Let's see. Moving on to item C4, items considered in closed session for action in open session. And we will go to our student expulsions. If I could have a motion to approve the recommendation on case number 2024/25-05.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Flores, seconded by trustee Sheffield. Can we get a vote?
Trustee Flores.
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz. Aye. Trustee McNally. Aye. Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. If we can get a motion to approve the recommendation on case 2024/25-17, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by trustee McNally, seconded by trustee Flores. Can we get the vote, please?
Trustee McNally. Aye. Trustee Flores.
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz. Aye. Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. If we can get a motion to approve the recommendation on case 2024/25-18, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Sheffield, seconded by trustee Flores. Can we get a vote, please?
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee Flores.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz. Aye. Trustee McNally. Aye. Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. And if we could get a motion to approve the recommendation on case 2024/25-19, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Flores, seconded by trustee Sheffield. Can we go to the vote, please?
Trustee Flores.
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz. Aye. Trustee McNally. Aye. Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. Thank you. We will now move on to statements of abstention. Board, any statements of abstention? Seeing none. Any adjustments to the agenda? Seeing none. We will now move on to me, board president's end of the year report. First, I wanted to start off by I'm going to give our superintendent, list of my final appointments and adjustments to the committees. Here you go, superintendent. And I'm just going to get right on into it. Gosh, seems like this year's gone by so fast. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Bigger crowd than I expected. As we close out 2024, I want to take this opportunity to reflect on what has been an incredibly challenging yet transformative year. When I took office as your school board president, December of 2023, I knew the road ahead would not be easy, but I could not have anticipated just how much we would face together. From the difficult financial decisions to bold policy advancements, this year has been defined by hard choices and the unwavering passion of our community. The first meeting began with a clear call from our students and community members for greater safety and advocacy. Safety has been a central theme throughout this year. In March, we finalized an agreement with CSEA to establish a much-needed role to student safety advisors, something that took a long time and a lot of work. This was a critical step towards increasing the adult presence on our campuses and ensuring that students felt supported and secure. But beyond physical safety, we've worked hard to create spaces where all students feel seen, valued, and free to express themselves. In October, we updated our policy to ensure the Progress Pride flag flies above all of our schools, sending a clear message that every student, especially those in the LGBTQIA+ community, has a place where they belong. Similarly, the ceasefire resolution we passed earlier in the year was not just a statement about the world events. It was a commitment to making our schools safe spaces for free speech and open dialogue. We believe students should have the freedom to discuss and debate global issues in an environment rooted in respect and understanding. Finally, just this month, we reaffirmed our district's commitment to immigrant families by passing a safe haven resolution. At a time of heightened rhetoric, this resolution ensures that our schools remain places of safety and stability for all families, regardless of their immigration status. But this year has also been marked by significant financial challenges, which have led us to some of the most difficult decisions our district has ever faced. Started in January when we learned that the governor's budget would still leave us facing substantial shortfalls, facing us to confront a reality no school board ever wants to face, the possibility of closing schools. In June, we passed our budget knowing that we would need to take this step to address a staggering deficit of $20 to $30 million. We formed a school consolidation committee, which has worked tirelessly to evaluate options and make thoughtful recommendations to the board. Now, as we approach these final stages of this process, it has become clear that we're looking at closing 4 to 5 schools in the coming months. This is a decision that has deeply impacted our community, and I want to acknowledge the passion and emotion that this issue has stirred. As a board, we hear your concerns. We understand the immense value each school holds for its students, families, and staff. These are not just buildings, they are the heart of our neighborhoods, and any decision to close them will be made with the utmost consideration and care. As we navigate these closures, we are also committed to doing more with less. Our district is facing new realities and we must adapt. One of the most pressing challenges we face is the increased accessibility of guns for our students, especially in high schools. Keeping our students safe and engaged in school and away from crime requires a collective effort. This is not just the responsibility of our schools. It is a challenge that requires the full partnership of our city, our county, our local nonprofits, of all of us. We all have a vested interest in ensuring the success of our students, and we must do better at working together to address the complex issues they face. One way we hope to improve collaboration is by continuing to explore community school model. This model creates opportunities for schools to serve as hubs where students and families can access wraparound services they need. By building stronger partnerships with our community organizations, government agencies, and other stakeholders, we can provide better support for our youth and their families, and together we can create a system that truly meets the needs of all students. Even in the face of all these challenges, we have continued to grow and move forward as a district. In July, we welcomed Dr. Daisy Morales as our new superintendent. From her first day, Dr. Morales has demonstrated a deep commitment to our students and educators, setting an ambitious goal to visit every classroom in her first 6 months. Her leadership and visibility have brought a renewed sense of energy and purpose to the district. We also simplified our strategic plan through 3 powerful words: embrace, engage, empower. These guiding principles reflect our dedication to creating a district where every student is supported to thrive. Additionally, we took a step to amplify student voices on the board by adding a second trustee position, ensuring that our decisions are informed by the perspectives of those most impacted by them. This year has not been without its challenges, but it has also been a year of resilience, progress, and growth. I want to thank our staff, students, family, and community members for their unwavering dedication to our schools, your constant advocacy, whether through participating in tough conversations about school closures, advocating for inclusive policies, or contributing to the broader vision of our district. Your voices and actions have been vital to the progress we've made. As I look to the future, I see a district that continues to rise to the challenges with determination and heart. Together, we can build a stronger, more inclusive, and more resilient community, one that truly embraces, engages, and empowers every student. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as your school board president this year. It has been an honor. I would truly miss serving with our 3 outgoing trustees, Ed, Ever, Alegria. I look forward to continue working alongside of those continuing to serve, as well as our new incoming trustees as we move into 2025. Thank you. And with that, we will now transition to our special presentation for our outgoing trustees. And I believe you each have maybe something to share. So we'll start off with you, Trustee Sheffield.
Guess I will go first. I'm the senior board member here, even though I don't get a senior discount at IHOP. I'll start by saying, looking back through the years with Santa Rosa City Schools, some of it seems like it was just yesterday that I took the oath of office, and at other times, it feels like 100 years has gone by. This is because so much can happen in a school year, and school board trustees, as a result, we age very quickly. Years of service for us are like dog years. I had hair when I started on the board, Nick Caston. I had hair back then. That was in 1968. That was a good year. I have my family here, and they're dressed in their finest flannel and Crocs. My wife, Beth, and my boys, Orion and Quinn. Thank you for your support through the years. You've been my care network, my rock through some pretty tough times. I've missed birthdays and school concerts and cross-country meets and special events. And having to put the duty of office above my time with them has sometimes been really hard. Their sacrifices also came with my oath of office. It hasn't been fair sometimes, but Beth and Orion and Quinn, thank you for your patience and your understanding that the responsibilities of this job sometimes went first. I also want to thank my fellow trustees, past and present. We've been through it all. We strive to support the success of our students and the betterment of our schools. I have nothing but gratitude, respect, and appreciation for all of you. Your commitment and your dedication to service is very admirable. We choose to hold these positions, and we are tasked to make the difficult decisions that must be made. And sometimes the reward is a slap in the face, but sometimes it's a hug and a thank you from a parent or a student. At the end of the day, we know that our decisions were made with the best intentions and the best interests in mind for our kids and our community. So my colleagues, I love you all, in service together, in service forever. Now I have a message for the school community. Dear Santa Rosa City Schools community, I write this letter with a mix of emotions as I step away from a position I've held for 8 incredible years. Serving in this role has been a privilege and an honor. Throughout the roller coaster of events that occurred during my 2 terms, being a trustee has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. As I reflect on my tenure, I'm filled with gratitude for the opportunity to work alongside dedicated educators, administrators, and my fellow board members. Together, we navigated complex issues that fundamentally transformed our schools and impacted our entire community. We faced devastating wildfires that tested our resilience and underscored the need for effective emergency preparedness. Then came a pandemic, which introduced unparalleled challenges and forced us to rapidly shift to distance learning, all while reinventing our approach to instruction. Even in those dark days, I witnessed the unwavering dedication of our teaching staff as they adapted to engage our students in innovative ways. The eventual return to in-person instruction brought joy and relief, yet it also initiated ongoing discussions about physical and emotional well-being. Our students' return to campus was marked by a significant rise in behavioral issues, culminating in a tragic incident at Montgomery campus, an event that will forever highlight the critical need for strengthened support systems, improved campus safety, and policies that more effectively protect our students. As we navigated through these challenges, I never lost faith in our ability to prioritize the needs of our students, ensuring their education continued even in the most trying times. Together, we made meaningful progress in creating environments where students feel safe and supported. Together, we enacted policies focused on mental health, equity, and inclusion, fostering a sense of belonging for all students. Together, we held the difficult conversations necessary to uplift student voices and ensure that every student is heard, respected, and valued. While there is still work to be done, these are the accomplishments of which I'm most proud. As I step away from this role, I carry with me cherished memories and invaluable lessons. I remain continually inspired by the resilience and commitment of our educators, the passion of our parents and families, and the limitless potential of our students. I'm a firm believer in the transformative power of education, and I've witnessed its positive impact within our schools. To me, the best day of the year will always be graduation day. To the Santa Rosa City Schools community, thank you for your trust, support, and unwavering dedication to our children's future. I'm excited to see how our schools will continue to evolve and grow in the years to come, and I have every confidence that the new board members will carry forward the legacy of making meaningful differences in the lives of our students. While I may be stepping away from my position on the board, I will always remain a steadfast supporter of our schools and the powerful institution of public education. With heartfelt appreciation and best wishes for the future, most sincerely, me.
Thank you, Trustee Sheffield. You always give me my feels. Trustee Flores, pass it on to you. Okay, Trustee De La Cruz.
You're a tough act to follow, Trustee Sheffield. And what an honor it has been to serve with you. So this is a love letter to this beautiful community. What an honor it has been to serve you as a board trustee. I joined this board in April of 2019, appointed by my fellow trustees after what was the weirdest job interview I have ever had, sitting here in this chamber packed to the gills in front of so many of you. But it was also the perfect entry into this experience and responsibility because it certainly got me ready to put myself out there in a very personal way. As a proud Chicana, I understand both the privilege and the responsibility that comes from being one of the very few Latinx elected officials in our county, as it continues to become more diverse and require responsive representation. I am very proud of having lifted up, shined light, and created policy interventions to address pervasive inequity in our outcomes in our schools. I am proud to have opened up critical conversations about the disproportionately negative impacts of law enforcement presence in schools, increased resources to restorative processes that can avoid criminalization of students of color and students with disabilities, work towards building new and honest and real and transparent and powerful relationships with community partners in this sacred responsibility to care for, to educate, and to prepare our children for the world. I'm proud to have dedicated resources and to encouraging and supporting culturally responsive and anti-racist curriculum and teaching. I'm proud to have ensured that we centered the health and safety of those most impacted members of our community during disasters. And I'm proud to have elevated the importance of modeling nonviolent communication in our meetings, in all of our public spaces. I also want to talk about what it is to be a leader and a woman of color in our community. And I know I'm not alone in these experiences. As a public servant in my beloved community, when I moved towards creating accountability and an anti-racist education and institution, our home was vandalized multiple times. Cowardly people who don't identify themselves drive past our house day and night, beeping and screaming horrible things at us. My children have been targeted with racist epithets as they stand outside of our home. But that response is not just about me. And so the remedy also is not just about me. El remedio a estos daños is to ensure that our collective light shines more brightly and that our collective voices in our community towards justice and equity are elevated, respected, and honored with action. I am really excited, and I continue to be dedicated to ensure that we work to support more women of color, more proud, bilingual, bicultural, highly educated. And when I say educated, I mean educación, en el sentido que viene de mi cultura, right? Education in the way that it comes from my community. That it's not only about formal education, but it includes recognizing and lifting up the superpowers that come from being immigrants, people of color, people who are multilingual, who are artists, who are dyslexics, and from the resilience and strength that comes from loving ourselves when it feels like no one else does or sees us. Those are the kinds of leaders that I'm committed to continue to create in our community. Or not even to create, to see and to lift up, because you guys are there, I know it. I am grateful to the passionate young people, to the organizers, to our community-based organizations, to the parents and the teachers and the kids and the staff and community members who stand for justice and love. And I remember that really powerful quote. They thought they buried us, but they didn't know that we were seeds. Y aquí está mi semillita. I'm really proud to know that the work that I've done will continue in all of you, but also in my son. Ome, I'm so proud of you for stepping into what is a really controversial role in this board and in a time when youth voices need to be listened to more critically now than ever. And I'm so proud that you're here. Thank you to entrusting me with this beautiful cargo. Thank you to my family. Martín, you're here. Our daughter is hopefully kicking some volleyball booty tonight. She's not here tonight. But thank you for your support and your understanding of the late nights. And thank you to my board members. I am so grateful to every single board member that's here and to the ones that aren't, who I had the opportunity to work with and to learn from. This is such an amazing place to learn, to listen, to make change, and to continue to lift up, our future in our communities, our students. Adelante, a la justicia. Gracias.
Gracias. Let me think of Shinashtle.
Wow, that is a really tough thing to follow for both of you. So we were asked to write a letter to our community members. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you for being my fellow trustee members. Thank you for enduring those last 4 years where it's been lots of ups and downs, and sometimes due to horrific situations that we have endured in our society, there's been a lot of downs, not only COVID-19, but other tragic events that have happened. So this is a letter to my dear friends, colleagues, and members of the Santa Rosa community. As I prepare to step down from my role as trustee for Santa Rosa City Schools, I want to reflect on the journey we've shared, the challenges we faced, and the progress we made together. Serving this community has been one of the most profound honors of my life, and this decision comes after much thought and deliberation. In 2019, I decided to run for school board trustee because of my deep passion for public education and my commitment to advocating for students, educators, and families. I didn't think an immigrant from El Salvador would be elected or be electable. But when I was elected in 2020, our community was in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, a time that tested all of us in unimaginable ways. Many of our decisions we made as a board were not easy and were not always popular. However, we acted just like outgoing trustee Sheffield said, with the best information available from public health agencies, and always prioritizing the safety of our students and staff. Throughout this journey, I've been very humbled by the encouragement from teachers, parents, students, and my constituents who have asked me to continue serving, knowing that so many of you have confidence in me has been uplifting, especially in the face of negativity from those who question the public faith enough as leaders. While some may doubt us, I have been reminded time and again that our community values thoughtful, empathetic leadership that prioritizes equity and collaboration. When I first joined the board, it was during a time of heightened division, distrust between different factions. Many questioned whether someone like me, a school counselor, an advocate supported by labor and teachers, could bring people together. My hope is that my actions over the last 4 years have demonstrated my commitment to fostering unity and building trust. I am particularly proud of the work we've accomplished to support our students, staff, and community. Advancing equity and diversity guided many of our board's decisions during my tenure. One of the initiatives I'm most proud of is the reaffirming our commitment to our LGBTQIA rights resolution, which remains one of the most, and let me repeat this, one of the most comprehensive resolutions seen in our district and north of the Golden Gate. Thank you. This resolution declares our schools as a safe and welcoming space for all students, staff, and families, while also implementing actionable steps to create lasting change. Key provisions of this resolution included establishing the LGBTQIA History Month and incorporating curriculum that highlights the achievements, resilience, and contributions of LGBTQIA+ individuals throughout history. Observing the transparency or the Transgender Day of Visibility, ensuring our community celebrates and recognizes the courage and achievement of transgender people. Supporting the annual National Coming Out Day, fostering a culture of inclusivity, acceptance for students, and staff who wish to share their identities. instituting comprehensive staff trainings, programs focused on supporting LGBTQIA staff, addressing biases, and combating bullying and discrimination throughout our district. And strengthening anti-bullying measures to protect LGBTQIA+ students and ensuring their voices are centered in policy decisions. This resolution is not only a declaration of support, but also a set of actionable steps that reflect our district's commitment to equity and inclusion. It reaffirms that Santa Rosa City Schools stands as the leader in addressing the needs of LGBTQIA students and families, ensuring that they are seen, valued, and protected. The project labor agreement, it's another achievement. I'm incredibly proud that we as a board, during my tenure, passed. This agreement not only brought significant opportunities to our schools, but also served as a powerful commitment to equity and economic justice. The PLA ensures that all major construction projects within our district prioritize the hiring of local workers, creating pathways for community members to access stable, well-paying jobs. This agreement is particularly meaningful for marginalized groups like mine, who have historically been excluded from such opportunities. By intentionally focusing on hiring local, we have helped bring economic growth directly to the families and neighborhoods that form the backbone of our school community. Additionally, the PLA promotes workforce diversity by requiring contractors, not asking, requiring them to prioritize hiring women, veterans, and individuals from unrepresented communities. It also includes apprenticeship programs and opportunities, allowing young people, including our own students, to gain valuable on-the-job training and build careers in the trades. This agreement is not just about infrastructure, it's about investing in our people. It represents a long-term vision for strengthening our local economy, building a skilled workforce, and ensuring that the benefits of our district-funded projects stay within our community. The PLA is a model of what's possible when equity is embedded in every decision we make, demonstrating that public education can be a driving force for positive change far beyond the classroom. Another significant achievement another significant achievement is the district's new policy ensuring that career technical education instructors receive one-to-one credits for the industry or military work experience. This initiative has made our district a leader in attracting and retaining the best talent in the field, providing our students with access to educators who bring years of hands-on knowledge and expertise. Whether it's automotive technology, culinary arts, engineering, or the other critical career pathways, this policy ensures that our CTE programs are led by professionals who can inspire and prepare students for real-world success. Now, moving on to the bond measure. The bond measure for Santa Rosa City Schools, which was passed with overwhelming support, stands as proof that we can achieve when we work together. Collaborating with community members and labor, we secure critical resources that benefit our students, staff, and educators. Now, however, as we began to explore a partial tax, it became clear that there was work to be done to rebuild trust between the district and educators. My hope is that this trust can be restored so that future measures like a partial tax can succeed, ensuring additional funding for our schools and bettering the livelihoods of everyone in our district. One of our most difficult moments during one of mine, and I'm pretty sure one of our most difficult moments in our tenure was the tragic death of one of our students at the hands of another. This heartbreaking event shook the entire community and highlighted the importance of fostering a school environment where every student feels supported and valued. While we cannot undo the past, we must continue to work towards a future where such tragedies can be prevented. As I step away, I do so knowing that my initial plan was to serve 1 or 2 terms, depending on how I could balance my personal and professional commitments. Being elected as director for the National Educators Association for District 2, representing educators from San Mateo, San Francisco, to the Oregon border in Washington, D.C., is an opportunity to advocate for public education on a broader scale. Paired with my role as a school counselor at Healdsburg High School, where I continue to work directly with students, this new chapter feels like the right step forward. I do want to share a message from a fellow educator from Santa Rosa City Schools, Margaret Boone, who's a special education teacher at Montgomery High School, that deeply touched me. She wrote, "Ever, I want to reach out to you and thank you for your service on the board. Often you are the voice of reason and a unifier. When parents have been furious with more contentious issues, you have been the calming voice in the crowd. That's a great thing. You are the most empathetic person on the board and one that truly understands and sees people. I can always see that counselor side to you that has definitely been something we needed in the last few years, when each year has been harder than the last." Margaret's words capture what I've always tried to embody: empathy, unity, and thoughtful advocacy. As I step away, I'm filled with hope for the future of this district. I encourage the next generation of leaders sitting here with us to focus on equity, collaboration, transparency, and keeping the district accountable. I know the foundation we have built together will continue to grow and serve our students, educators, and community well. Central to this growth is recognizing our labor partners as true educational allies. When we see one another as adversaries, when we see one another not as adversaries, but as partners, we foster an environment where collaboration and mutual respect can thrive, ultimately benefiting our students, educators, and the entire community. To those who supported and encouraged me, muchísimas gracias, Estelle. Thank you for believing in me and this work. To those who may have doubted me, I hope my tenure has shown that what can be accomplished when we focus on unity and shared purpose. Serving Santa Rosa City Schools has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I look forward to continuing the fight for public education in my new role as in the NEA, and I will remain committed to this community and its success. With hope and gratitude, Era Flores, Santa Rosa City Schools Board of Education Trustee Area 1, newly elected NEA Director District 2, but most importantly, school counselor for students grade 9 through 12 at Healdsburg High School. Thank you.
Wow, I'm really gonna miss you guys. Got me so reflective. But we did want to present you all with a little gift, a little plaque that we got you all. And I wanted to take this moment to just read what we wrote on it. From Center City Schools, with our deepest appreciation, we hereby honor you in recognition of your passion, unconditional commitment, and enduring dedication to the students of Santa Rosa City Schools. Thank you from Center City Schools, the Board of Education, for your term. Thank you. Ed? Ever? And we have a little something else for you that I will allow Trustee Manietti to present.
We have another gift. We have a certificate for the three of you, and this is signed by our California State Senator Mike McGuire and our newly elected State Assembly Member Chris Rogers. And the certificate of recognition states, in recognition of your tenure on the City of Santa Rosa School Board, not just Santa Rosa City Schools Board, and your years of dedicated commitment to the students of Sonoma County. And this is signed December 18th, 2024. So this is for Ed.
Thank you, Trustee Manietti. And I think Superintendent Morales, you have a
I
little
didn't get to
something.
serve too long with them, but my gift to you is the little boxes. Take some goodies home. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for hiring me. So thank you so much for all your service, and I hope to count on you now as community partners and reach out as we need help and some history, Ed. So we call him our historian because he's the longest serving board member. So we ask him all the history questions. So I will be calling him as our historian. To get some perspective on different things. But thank you very much for serving and for all you've given to the district.
Now I wanted to open it up to board members in case either of you had anything you wanted to share with Trustee De La Torre.
Personally, I just want to thank each and every one of you for choosing me on my appointment last year and welcoming me to this dais. It has been a pleasure and an honor to work with each of you. Whether we are in agreement or have different opinions on needs for this district, it has been an honor to work alongside you. I am better, we are better for that partnership. Steel sharpens steel, and I appreciate your voices, your wisdom, your passion, and look forward to continuing to hear from your respected thoughts and opinions as the board continues to move forward and try to do good things for this district. Thank each and every one of you very much.
Thank you. Any other trustees? Trustee McNally?
I didn't write out what I want to say, so bear with me, but it's important to me that I say something. These past 2 years serving on this board with these trustees has been something I never expected and just such an important part of my life, and I think has really changed me for the better. And the three of you are so central to that. From what I have seen and met of other school boards, I don't think most school boards look like this or work like this or think like this. This is such a special group of people. Your perspective and your mentorship as a fellow CTA member who is also a board member has meant so much to me. I remember you scooping me up when I was like totally lost at our first CSPA conference and taking me to the CTA breakfast. Also, just your fierce advocacy for English learners, for special education students, for LGBTQ students. I appreciate that so much, and I hope that I can carry on your work and your voice in that. Ed, 8 years. Your institutional knowledge, I learned so much from you, and I so value the way that despite all of the conflict and all of the mud that's been thrown, you welcome everyone to the table, and you encourage us to communicate with respect and civility, and you've been so steady in that. Alegria, I've been sitting next to you 2 years, and on just a personal level, there have been so many times in these meetings when you have ensured that my voice was heard, or you have elevated what I had to say. And I have so appreciated that. I think you're one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I love the way you're resolute in upholding the dignity of all people and especially marginalized people. And I so love that about you.
Trustee Manieri?
I'd like to go last if that's okay. If you have anything you'd like to say, or our student board member.
Anything?
Okay, this is totally unplanned and I don't know what I'm gonna say. This is it's gonna be a new opportunity for me because I'm gonna have worked with these 3 board members. And I'm gonna have worked with 3 new board members, and it's gonna be an amazing transfer of power, but also an amazing opportunity to build new relationships and network. And so I totally appreciate all that you've taught me, and I appreciate all the greetings and the handshakes at the beginning of the meetings, and I appreciate the hellos and the smiles. Those are my favorite parts about attending these meetings. And it is amazing to see what we can do as an organized board. And I have, it's such an honor to learn from each and every one of you, and especially the ones that are leaving. I don't know what to say, but I'm so grateful to have spent time with you on the board, but also as a spectator and someone who's given public comment before. And so it's been great getting to experience both perspectives and getting to know you guys personally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gosh, I feel so privileged and honored and lucky to have served with you all. Y'all are amazing. And, having been a part of this district for so long, from a student to where I am today, I know that this board is the best board ever. I mean, in terms of representation, knowledge, accountability, I know that it's going to be hard to replicate. You all leaving is difficult because you all have an immense amount of knowledge and specialization that is going to leave a void. From Alegria, your legal experience, ever as a counselor and educator, but both of y'all have been involved so long. And then Ed, just in government and government relations for so long, and just your cool, methodic level to just look at all issues in such a calm way. I'm always just in awe. I'm gonna miss it. I think that individually, we all have our flaws. None of us are perfect, but collectively, we create an amazing board, and I think our community really should value what it's had. It's been something that I think in history will go down as a point in time that was amazingly represented. And I think that one of the things that stands out to me is that you have all been a part of advocating for transparency and accountability, even when it's hard on us. And I think that's been something important that I think we've all wanted and collectively worked towards. And while I hate to see you all go, at the same time, I'm comforted knowing that you all are going to continue doing amazing things and moving on to just do incredible work ahead. And I hope that I get to work with you all in some way or some fashion in the future. Hopefully you all continue to remain invested in our district one way, whether it be holding us accountable or supporting us in some way. But ultimately, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done, for the time and investment from time away from your families, and just for being my friend indirectly. Hopefully now that you're off the board, maybe I could connect with you a little more. Thank you. Trustee Manieri.
All right, so I did write just a little bit for each of you. Ed, your 8 years of service to this board have been nothing short of extraordinary. Your expertise in government relations and policy, your strategic thinking, and your ability to communicate so effectively have made an indelible impact on our work. You face challenges with grace and resilience, always knowing just the right thing to say to move us forward. You are really a hard president to follow. While we'll deeply miss your wisdom, I'm thrilled you'll now have more time to spend with your growing boys. Thank you for your dedication and your leadership. Ever, your 4 years with us have been marked by your deep connections to our labor partners, your commitment to bringing back critical insights from different boards and associations, and your invaluable perspective as an educator and counselor. Your thoughtful questions about our budgets have ensured accountability and clarity, and your understanding of students and staff has enriched our discussions and decisions. Thank you for being a bridge builder, a unifier, a problem solver, and a passionate voice for our schools. And I won't cry. I'm going to do my best not to cry. Nope, it's happening. Alegría, your 6 years of service have been a testament to courage and heart. As a lawyer, your sharp insight and deep understanding of policy have been invaluable to this board. Your dedication to advocating for students and families experiencing marginalization has set the standard for us all, not just in Santa Rosa City Schools, but across our community. Your ability to navigate complex challenges with passion and integrity leaves an enduring legacy. With your departure, this will be the first time, and I don't know if folks realize this, this will be the first time in over 25 years, probably 30 years, that our board will not have someone with law expertise, a lawyer on our board, making your contributions all the more significant. Thank you for your tireless work, your wisdom, your unwavering commitment to justice, and your friendship. And it wouldn't be SRCS fashion to let you go without some music. Ed started this tradition a few years ago, so I want to continue it. So I'm gonna play. It's part of it.
Talk about family, is all that we got. Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you told me with me for the last ride.
Thank you.
And thank you for that, Trustee Manietti. I did want to actually open up to President Catherine Howe. I believe I was just informed that you wanted to share something.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. Talk about a hard act to follow there. I just wanted to, on behalf of SRTA and the teachers of the district, say thank you to Ever and Ed and Alegría. It's been a really difficult 8 years and 6 years and 4 years, and you guys have weathered it and have really done great things for this district. We, as a labor association, have not always gotten along with this board, but the last 4 years have been bridge building, and we really appreciate it. We've had some excellent contracts. We've had some excellent movement in terms of recognizing the contribution of the teachers to the district, and always, always, always putting our students first and making sure they get what they need and making sure they get what's best. I want to say that it's kind of been, a few of you have mentioned it, but this board really truly is amazing in the representation. The fact that in the last 8 years, there has been a shift so that we have people on this board that represent the people of our city. You are representing all of the parts of the community in ways that this board in the past didn't necessarily do. And And I thank each one of you for stepping up and giving your time so that the students of this district and the families of this district can look at the board and see themselves reflected and see their interests reflected in your thoughtfulness and in your caring and in your passion for public education. Thank you.
Thank you, President Howe. And with that, I would like to invite the public and our board. If we could just end with one last unity clap for our outgoing members. Starts off slow and speeds up. Thank you. We're gonna take a little bit of a 5-minute break to just get readjusted. If y'all could stick around, maybe some quick photos with James, and then thank you again for your service. We'll return to the rest of the meeting in a few. Give us a sec. Okay, everybody, we're gonna get started up here again. We're gonna move on next to our. If I could have everybody settle down up there. It's one of my last opportunities to bang the gavel. Thank you. So we're getting started again. We're gonna move on to our new board member oaths of office. So we got our members here. Renewing Jeremy De La Torre, Mark Kirby, Sarah Jenkins, Nick Caston. What I'm going to have you all do, you've got the microphones in front of you. Make sure you turn them on. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat the oath of office after me. So I state your name.
I, Nick
Mark
Caston,
Carabellatory.
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
And
the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear
true
faith
faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
I take this
reservation
freely without any mental reservation
mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
well and faithfully discharge the duties I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, you're now sworn in. Super nice. So we're now going to take another quick little break while they get settled back into their seats, or newly settled into their seats. So y'all could get logged into the meeting on Zoom, and we'll continue in another sec, everybody. So I'm going to give you all a moment to get logged into the Zoom. And while they're getting ready, just I know there's a lot of folks here with public comment on non-agenda items later on. If you plan on speaking and you haven't completed a blue card, please do so by touching base with one of our staff members up on top by the door. That'll be up to the president at that time, which will likely not be me. And then whenever you're going to speak, turn on this to speak here. Seeing Sarah. I need Nick and we're almost there, folks. Almost there. I'll just get going and let you get started. So we're just gonna get started. Mark's still gonna try to figure it out. But the next part of the agenda is the annual organization. What the annual organization is once the new board members are sworn in, officers are elected. We start off with the election of the president. In the past, generally there's a committee that makes recommendations. Usually people that could potentially serve are not part of that committee. Given the amount of outgoing board members, we decided to, I was going to make some recommendations. And my recommendations were going to be to have potentially Trustee McNally as president, given that she's clerk. Trustee Manieri is my recommendation for vice president, given that she served as president before and could potentially advise Trustee McNally as president, and Trustee De La Torre as clerk. So those are my recommendations. Given the process for electing president, I step down and the clerk takes over to run the election of president. So I'm going to pass on the gavel to Trustee McNally to lead that process. You want to swap seats or? No, we can just do it there.
Thank you, President Medina.
Really quick, Ms. Superintendent Flores wanted to make a comment before.
I know that it's up to the board who becomes president, vice president, clerk. I just like for you to consider that whoever is president works very closely with me. And I have appreciated President Medina because literally I can call him any hour of the day or night when something comes up. And so that's really critical to the position of president, is that availability as well as a vice president, because we meet at least 2 to 3 times a month. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, that it would, especially in the next 3 months, January, February, March, are going to be high activity months. And so if you could just take that into consideration as you're deliberating and making decisions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, President Medina and Superintendent Morales. So as clerk of the board, I'm responsible for opening up the election for president of the board. So I'm looking for someone to be nominated for president of our school board. Do we have any? Trustee Jenkins?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Caston.
Trustee Caston, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Trustee Manieri?
I'd like to nominate you, Trustee McNally.
Thank you, Trustee Manieri. I accept the nomination.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? Trustee De La Torre?
I'd like to nominate Trustee De La Torre.
All right, thank you, Trustee De La Torre. I assume you accept your own recommendation.
I accept.
Are there any other nominations? All right, then we'll go to a roll call vote.
We could have a discussion on it.
Oh, yes, sorry. So any discussion? Trustee Manieri?
Yeah, I mean, since I nominated Trustee McNally, I agree with the recommendation brought forward by President Medina. Trustee McNally has been serving on this board for 2 years, and she has served during this time as the clerk of the board. And I think continuity, as we have a transitioning board, is critical. It's vitally important that there's an effective transfer of knowledge. And given the major transition that this board is facing, I do think that Trustee McNally is well suited for this position.
President Medina?
Thank you. I think an important thing that I'd like to share is just my experience coming onto the board. My first year, I was very interested in serving as president. And I think, obviously, I wasn't president that very first year, but I think having served, I was glad that I wasn't president because coming onto the board and then serving on the board, you realize the intense amount of work, the complexity of everything, and it really is a big learning curve in the beginning. So I just wanted to add that insight and also just add my support for Trustee McNally, given that she's been engaged, she's been involved, she served as clerk, and she already has that experience. And part of what serving is about is learning and growing, and it's the continuing to grow that knowledge and experience through the process. And I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking, I'm like, wow, we're in such a critical time, and I was kind of interested in maybe throwing my hat in the race, but it would be hypocritical to my true beliefs about anybody serving more than one consecutive term. So I decided it's not the right thing to do, but I really believe in Trustee McNally and her ability, and I support her and would ask the rest of the board to support her as serving as president of our board in the next year, which will be a difficult year. Thank you.
Just point of order, we have a first and second for Trustee McNally, but we didn't hear a second for Trustee Castrano de la Cruz, or de la Torre.
I had been told that our process didn't require seconds.
We did get a second for Trustee
For McNally, but not for the other two.
No, we did for Caston.
Okay.
I think,
No, but I will second the nomination for Director Cast.
any other?
So do we have a second for each of the 3 nominations?
I think we're missing a second for de la Torre.
And
But it's not necessary, correct, to move forward with a nomination and a vote.
Correct. For nominations, it's not required.
then is there any further discussion? Trustee Jenkins?
Just to further the reason that I nominated Director Caston is he does have extensive governing experience, which I think is very crucial at this point going forward with kind of a neutral, balanced standpoint coming in, I think is extremely important, especially with that governing experience. I think that it can keep us focused on meetings going forward, which I think is going to be a huge benefit.
Any other discussion? Trustee De La Torre?
Thank you, Trustee McNally. Just to speak to the board that's making a vote on this, the reason I put my name forward is I do believe in continuity of the former board moving forward. And I've sat on this board for almost 2 years now, and that would be continuity moving forward. And not only do I have experience with this Board of Education, but I have experience with this work over the past 20 years with Lincoln Valley Unified School District and Santa Rosa City School District. And what this next president needs to do is have the time and ability to commit to this district, which I do have with flexibility with my employment, and the ability to remain neutral and balanced through the very difficult decisions we have laying ahead of us. Someone who is connected and committed to the community and has shown that week after week, spending time with the community and with the various campuses and listening to what our district is looking for. So my nomination was to allow continuity with the board with the next presidency and somebody with the commitment and capacity to have that role with fidelity and move the district forward.
Any other discussion? Director or Trustee Caston?
Greatly appreciate the nomination, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone as we move forward. I think one of the reasons I was willing to accept a nomination at our first meeting, which is not something that I think would normally be the right direction, but with the substantial change in the membership of this board, I think it is a time with the issues that we are dealing with where fresh leadership will also help advance the conversations. Embracing all of the work that has been done. And there's been a lot of work that has been done well, while also bringing in the new voices and making sure that they're heard in these important conversations. And my hope is that we, should I be in this position, are able to balance that with experience in the vice president and the clerk's position. But I do believe a fresh voice and a fresh look is important at this time for the district.
Any other discussion? Then I will just say for myself that my interest in serving as president is merely that I'd like to be a facilitator. I don't believe that the president should hold any more power than any other member of this board. And these past 2 years, I've seen how contentious our meetings can become and how we sometimes can slip away from procedure. And so I would just like to be someone who can facilitate these meetings in a productive way, so that all voices can be heard and at the appropriate time. If there is no other, Trustee Jenkins?
Just have a question. Do you have the time for it as far as the capacity for all of the upcoming meetings in the next couple, like the additional meetings?
Yes, I can be present for all meetings. I can also delegate tasks to the vice president and clerk. Yeah, I do. I have the time. I can commit. Any other discussion? Then I believe we can move to a roll call vote.
Can I get clarification on the roll call vote? Do I do it individually by each nomination, or we just do one vote?
I believe each trustee votes on the nominee that they would like to be president.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. Student Board Member Zaninga. Yes. Go ahead for president.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Kirby.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee De La Torre.
Trustee Delatorre.
Trustee Manieri.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee Medina.
Trustee McNally.
Can we get some clarification on what happens next, given that that was a 3-3-1
I
vote?
still need trustee Jenkins' vote.
I apologize. Trustee Jenkins.
Trustee Caston.
Resident Medina, do you know what we do next in this situation?
We got to keep going until we elect somebody.
With the top two.
So we vote again just with the top two. Okay, so do we go to further discussion or just straight to, okay?
Go to further discussion for the top.
All right, so the vote is now between Trustee Caston and myself, Trustee McNally. Is there any further discussion? All right, then we will go to a roll call vote.
Student Board Member Zeninga.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Kirby.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee De La Torre.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee Manieri.
Trustee McNally.
Trustee Jenkins.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Medina.
Trustee McNally.
So then with a 4-3 vote, I believe that makes me president of this board. Thank you, everyone.
We don't know yet.
All right, then, as president now, I'll continue with the rest of the officer elections. So I'm now accepting nominations for vice president. Are there any nominations? Trustee Medina.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Manieri.
Trustee Manieri, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Trustee Kirby?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Caston.
Trustee Caston, do you accept the nomination?
Do.
All right, are there any other nominations? All right, so we have 2 nominations, Trustee Manieri or Trustee Caston. Is there any discussion? Trustee Medina.
Thank you. Again, I just really wanted to emphasize that I think Trustee or President McNally, since you haven't served as president, and I think Trustee Manieri has had that experience, I think it would be good to kind of have that balance and support as someone that's experienced in that position to kind of help support you in the process. And so that's why I think it'd be good for Trustee Manieri to to serve in that capacity, and I'm thankful that she's accepted that nomination.
Other board member discussion? Trustee Manieri?
I'd just like to add that if I were to step into this role, I'd be very happy to work with you, Trustee McNally. And, there are things that I learned along the way that I wish I would have been told, or information that I wish would have been shared with me that I'm very much happy to share with you.
Other discussion? Trustee Jenkins?
I think that with almost half of the board being new, having it balanced at the top with the governing experience as well as the historical experience on this board, I think would be extremely beneficial, just to make sure that, especially in the community's eyes, that things are a little bit more balanced, I think would be huge. I also, again, think that Trustee Caston's governing experience at the forefront is going to go far with where our community is at right now.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Student Board Member Zaninga.
Trustee Manieri.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Kirby.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee McNally. Oh, I apologize. I'll go to you at the end. Trustee De La Torre.
Trustee Manieri?
Trustee Manieri.
Trustee Magnetti.
Trustee Jenkins.
Trustee Caston.
Trustee Medina.
Trustee Manieri.
President McNally.
Trustee Manieri? So with a 4-3 vote, Trustee Manieri, you are now Vice President. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh.
I will now accept nominations for clerk. Are there any nominations? Trustee Manieri or Vice President Manieri?
I nominate Trustee De La Torre.
Trustee De La Torre, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? All right. Seeing none, since we have only one nomination, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions or abstentions?
I think we still got to do roll call. Roll call vote.
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
It's not what my script says. Okay, we can do a roll call vote.
Student Board Member Zaninga.
Aye. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, okay.
Trustee Caston.
Aye.
Trustee Kirby.
Aye.
Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri.
Aye.
Trustee Jenkins.
Aye.
Trustee Medina.
Aye.
President McNally.
Aye. Congratulations, Clerk De La Torre. All right, and then the last item on our organization is the appointment of superintendent as secretary of the board. I'm not actually sure what do I just say I appoint you secretary of the board.
That could, thank you.
Right, then we will move on to item C11, our adoption of the 2025-2026 calendar. Okay.
We would like to request to change the February dates. It says February the 5th, but in conversation with district leadership and the school consolidation, it might end up having a second meeting on February 3rd. It'd be too short notice, and so we'd like to request that that date be moved from the 5th to the 12th. That's the only change requested.
All right. Yes, trustee Caston.
Just have a question on that. My understanding is that hearing would be when we receive the initial report from the committee.
Yes.
And we have to vote on that report by the meeting on the 19th. So that would only give us 7 days to work with the material instead of the 14 that's currently on the schedule.
Yes, and the team doesn't think, especially after the meeting on Monday, that they'll be able to have a solid recommendation and report by just meeting on January 27th. And so it is a possibility to do another meeting before the 27th. Just our facilitators from Schools Legal Services won't be available. And our School Services of California won't be available for any other date other than the 27th and the 3rd of February.
Is this just questions now, or are we also expressing discussion? Do we have to take public comment on this item?
No,
No.
it's an adoption, not an approval.
And then I have a concern considering the amount of time and work that the committee is having to grapple with these and only having 7 days between our two meetings for us to grapple with it.
That's why we have put it on the 5th. But having seen the meeting on last Monday, the team thinks that they won't reach a full report won't be available by the end of that 27th meeting.
Trustee Jenkins, and then trustee Medina.
So then are we able to push back the second meeting another week? So we have 14 days to.
We already have it on the 19th and the 26th. So basically we have every Wednesday in February.
Okay. So we have a meeting on the 26th.
Yes, we do.
But we have to make our decision by the 19th?
That's the best in terms of us meeting the deadlines for March 15th notices. So everything hinges on the March 15th date and the second interim. We could, worst case is schedule one on the 5th and the 12th and the 19th every day in February, just in case.
I think that's
better.
I think that would be better, yeah. Just for discussion as well as the amount of public comment that's going to be.
We can just add then February the 12th to the meetings.
I had trustee Medina's hand and then trustee Kirby.
Yeah, I was gonna say generally we meet the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday, which the 12th would be the 2nd Wednesday of that month. That 19th meeting is an added meeting, and generally believe those Wednesdays available for potentially meeting otherwise. But it is going to be very difficult, a lot of information that we got to grasp in a very short period of time. And if we meet the 12th, maybe we give guidance to staff for the 19th, but they really need, we got to understand that they also, once we give them direction, they have a lot of work to do in a very short period of time to potentially give a lot of pink slips out for our March 15th deadline. But yeah, I think, so I just want to clarify, we're going from, instead of the 5th, the 12th. So in February would be 12th, 19th, and 26th. Is that correct?
That's what I'm asking, what trustee Jenkins was mentioning. Why not have one, why don't we just add the 12th instead of removing the 5th?
Trustee Kirby, you had your hand raised.
Yes, so I just want to ensure, is there some way that we changing the process that the committee is going through to enable them to be able to do their job? I mean, I understand that there was a lot of comment and they weren't able to really effectively do what they're there to do. So are we somehow?
It was
Changing it.
mostly public comment that, kept it going for so long. I could ask Lisa August to come down and give us more information. But if the public comment continues, it's almost impossible for the committee to do the work that they need to do. But it is a Brown Act committee, hence public comment has to be allowed. And I think they lowered it to like 1 minute. So Lisa, why don't you come on down? They brought it down to a minute, right? And it still took up the bulk of the minute. So the committee wasn't actually able to, so there is no limiting public comment other than we can say you can speak for 30 seconds for the committee to do their work. But if you can,
Yes, there is an option that the committee could limit the total public comment to 20 minutes. And they were reluctant to make a decision. They couldn't come to consensus as to whether they would want to do that going forward at the next meeting. We do have, we've made it public that that public can make comment in writing and send it to me, and I will attach it so that the committee actually has that information ahead of time with the agenda as an option. But essentially that the meetings are supposed to be 2 hours, and that meeting was 4 hours. All of our meetings have gone over at least an hour, so that does increase the cost, of course, from consultants, and that you know, compared to what was projected. That is the those are the options that we have, and it is very difficult to come to consensus with 20 people and with the depth of material that they're looking at.
Trustee Medina?
Yeah, so just in terms of this decision to change this meeting to the 12th, if I'm understanding correctly, it's the consolidation committee meets on the 3rd. So in order for you all to be able to have adequate time to prepare and give us the information, that's why we're asking for this meeting on the 12th. And in terms of like other input that's going into that committee, it sounds like that February 3rd might be like the last one. So there, if I understand correctly, there's going to be a lot of town hall meetings that are going to help feed that decision and that input. And I think we as board members will be able to see potentially video recordings of those meetings, or will those also be recorded for us to potentially view, like anyone else in the public can view?
We hadn't discussed whether, in our planning yet, whether we would record the town halls or not. We were looking at it as trying to make it a more interactive process to where we could get some input. I mean, yes, have the conversations, but also maybe an activity to help prioritization, maybe, you know, spend a dot type of activity or something like that, or break up into, you know, groups on different sides of the rooms looking at the different options to be explored, whether it's the original example that was provided for direction of the 311 or a TK through 8 option or a 7 through 12, what would be feedback, and trying to synthesize that in a way. It's very difficult to record and televise those types of meetings because you don't have one person speaking at a time into the mic. So the microphone doesn't pick it up very well. But we would have a, you know, a synopsis of each of those meetings and the outcomes to be able to provide.
Thank you. And I think just going to this move to the 12th, I think I'm supportive of moving the meeting to the 12th. And I think for us as board members, in order to be able to be best informed, it'd be good to maybe watch that meeting that happens on the 3rd. That way we're able to start developing our questions, and maybe in advance of that meeting on the 12th, we could ask staff any questions we may have in advance of that.
And just as a point about the town halls, as long as we don't have a quorum, board members we could have individual board members attend those to be able to see some of that firsthand. Same thing with the committee. As long as we don't have a quorum of either of those groups, then we can hold those without them being, you know, subject to Brown Act and the very rigid rules, and being more free flowing with the community.
Trustee Caston?
So I have just two sentiments. Watching the work of the committee, I'm not sure that the January 27th and the February 3rd meeting is going to add to their ability to come to a consensus. And contemplating which body needs more time to come to a consensus, I would like to encourage us to keep the 5th and the 12th, be able to receive a report on the 5th, even if it's not the complete report, in order to be able to actually start our deliberations and process, because it's not just about us being informed, but also about us being able to work together and communicate. And I think the committee's done a very good job of proving that that short timeline isn't going to give us the ability to be thoughtful.
If I if I can also share that the extended time would also, between the 5th and the 12th, would actually give staff additional time to prepare, knowing what those scenarios are coming out of there, to prepare a more thorough set of data to go along with that to the board.
Similarly, though, if we were to present you with scenarios that may be a mixture of what comes from the committee, would the 7 days between the 12th and the 19th give you an ability to actually respond to that?
It would be just as difficult. So, yes.
Any other questions or discussion? Trustee Clerk Delatorre.
So there's no getting around the public comment. The community is involved, they're engaged, they have things to say, and we need to listen. So we're not going to be able to limit the time put into those in any capacity, whether it's a committee meeting or the board meeting. It is imperative that as enough time is prepared to thoughtfully deliberate and choose the best scenario moving forward. This board is already committed to a budget stabilization plan to reach a number, to have school closures and consolidations get us to $11.5 million, $12.5 million cut. That's going to happen. We need to have time to have those discussions. So the committee is doing the best they can to deliberate and provide recommendations that we have not yet had. How do we best utilize our time moving forward with however many meetings it takes to get the information properly documented, processed, and prepared so we actually have time as a board to deliberate and vote on that? Ultimately, it's our votes that are going to make that decision, and we cannot walk in with 7 days and say, we've been talking about it for 7 months, now you guys have 7 days to make the final decision.
It may, one concern with the 5th as a regular meeting is that we will not be able to meet the 72-hour timeline for posting if we hold a meeting on the 3rd. So it would need, if it's a special meeting, we could post 24 hours in advance. So that would be only the day before, and that would be whatever the product was that came out of the 3rd without being, quality checked as far as typos or things of that. Yeah, it would be a raw present.
So the 5th would be a special meeting anyways, because it's not the second Wednesday. So that would meet the 24-hour window for posting. The 5th would be a special meeting. Here's what I recommend. There's a lot of information to go through. This is not the only thing this board needs to decide on and work on. So let's be very diligent about building our agendas throughout the meetings in February and make sure the work that can get done on the 5th gets done, and the work that needs to get done on the 12th, 19th is done. Let's disseminate the piles of work that have to be done and not try and squeeze them all into 1 or 2 meetings. If we're going to take advantage of using every Wednesday in the month of February, which we should with this difficult of a decision ahead of us, then let's make sure our agendas are prioritized at the amount of work that needs to be done and for the different things that are coming across our table, because it's not just this. As important as this is not the only thing this board needs to work on and decide on within that month.
Can I reiterate what I heard? Yes, go ahead.
Just reiterating what I heard. So if we keep the February 5th, we would have it as a special board meeting. Currently, because it's sitting on this list, is considered a regular meeting. So we're moving to do February 5th as a special board meeting and then a regular board meeting on February the 12th. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Trustee Medina.
I move to approve this calendar with the amendment change of February 12th as the regular meeting and February 5th as a special meeting as needed.
Second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Jenkins.
One other thing on the calendar is July. And I understand that we don't usually meet, the board doesn't usually meet in July. However, with the closing of several schools the following month, maybe it doesn't need to be like, we don't need to decide on a date as of right now.
Yeah, we
But
can decide.
I would really like us to be meeting at least once in July, just to kind of stay on top of things.
Trustee Medina?
And just to add to that, no July meetings is part of board policy, but we could always add special meetings if we need, and we probably will need.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can we go to a roll call vote?
Student Board Member Zuniga,
Aye.
Trustee Medina,
Aye.
Trustee Manieri,
Aye.
Trustee Castro.
Aye.
Caston, sorry. Sorry about that. Trustee Kirby,
Aye.
Trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
Trustee Jenkins,
Aye.
and President McNally.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, so then we will now move on to our D item, public comment on non-agenda items. So I have some blue cards here. If you would like to make public comment, and you have not yet filled out a blue card, please do so. Based on the number of cards I have, I'm going to allow 2 minutes for public comment. I will read names 3 at a time so that you know when your turn is coming. Please step up to one of our microphones when it's your turn. Am I forgetting anything? All right, so first we'll have Mike Lopez, followed by Erica Lipovich, followed by Aaron Matthews. Do we have Mike Lopez? Are you Mike?
I am.
Go ahead.
My name is Mike Lopez. I'm past president and founding member of the Elsie Allen High School Foundation. 14 years ago, I received a call from Willie Tamayo, one of the owners of La Tortilla Factory. He said, Mike, the kids on the south side of town need our help. They're not receiving any support and being overlooked. We listened then to Mary Gail Stabling, who was reciting principal, and Brian Farrell, and 5 students telling their stories, just what it takes to be at school. I will tell you, there wasn't a dry eye in that room. And that day, 15 Santa Rosa community and business leaders decided to make a difference for these kids and created the Elsie Allen High School Foundation. Fast forward from our humble beginnings, the scholarship program last year produced $171,000 in scholarships to 47 individual seniors and 38 alumni. 11 years later, we've awarded over 400 scholarships, which total over $600,000 invested in our students. We funded our $2 million endowment fund, and that fund will generate scholarships in perpetuity. We partnered with Gen X Trade Academy to provide Elsie Allen students the path to high-paying jobs. And we graduated our second cohort of 20 students in November, which means they're job ready for entry positions, and they are OSHA certified. We have our next spring cohort of 20 on board. We partnered with Sutter Health. Students get experience outside the classroom to possible healthcare opportunities. We have over 100 students signed up for that program. The students that have universities and students have attended are UC Santa Barbara, UC Berkeley, Santa Rosa JC, Sonoma State, Davidson College, Cal State Sacramento, Dartmouth.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Your time is up. Next, I have Erica Lipovich, followed by Aaron Matthews, followed by Joel Grogan.
Thank you so much. So the community spoke loud and clear. We want creative solutions that help us save our high schools. Now, I did the math. In order to save the high schools, we need to make deeper cuts in our elementary schools and middle schools. Based on the number of kids in our elementary schools and in our district, and based on basic geography of Santa Rosa, I personally don't see a path that allows us to cut more than 3 elementary schools. I tried. It's tough. So with that said, we need to make it up by cutting more middle schools. So where does that leave us? If your answer is K through 12, it won't work. We have 9 elementary districts that feed into our high schools. We simply can't close middle schools and expect that other districts send their children into our elementary schools. Further, not all our elementary schools have capacity to host K through 8, nor do they have the unique facilities like gyms needing to host the K through 8. So we can actually save all of our high schools if we do a 3-3-0 model instead of a 3-1-1. So 3 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, no high schools. So cutting 3 middle schools means that a majority of our high schools will need to adopt a 7-12 model. Well, Maria Carrillo can't do that due to capacity, so we can leave Lincoln Valley Middle School, leave Carrillo, done. Okay, so there's a lot of research supporting this model. It's actually done in about 8% of high schools in California. Better student success, lower dropout rates, higher graduation, but I know what you're all thinking. Can I stomach the idea of sending my 7th grader to a big high school? Wow, yeah, it's a scary idea, right? What about the crime? What about the drugs? What about all the big trouble they might get into? Sorry to break it to you, research actually shows that if kids are going to get into trouble, it starts in middle school. However, if we reduce the number of transitions they make, bring them into a welcoming new school community and support them at a younger age, we might help them be less likely to engage in negative behaviors. So my challenge to you is do research to 7-12 community. It may be the only feasible path forward if we want to keep our high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. I love the creativity.
Next, I have Aaron Matthews, followed by Joel Grogan, followed by Kristen Langley? Lavely? Aaron Matthews.
Hello, I'm a parent, substitute teacher, and PTA board member, and a huge Proctor Terrace fan. My son is my favorite 3rd grader. What would have been our neighborhood school became a charter school, so when it came time, we made the choice to join the Proctor Terrace community. Proctor Terrace has been home to generations of proud Tigers for 75 years. It is a school that has seen a lot and been through a lot, a school that is a landmark and part of Santa Rosa's history. It feels like your neighborhood school, even when it's not in your neighborhood. I know some difficult decisions have to be made, and I know things are going to be different for everyone next year. But as a glass half full kind of gal, when I picture what next year will be, I picture Proctor Terrace thriving, full of both new and familiar faces. Our community will welcome new students and families with open arms because when you have a good thing, you want to share it. As the highest scored elementary school, according to the committee's criteria, and the #1 most diverse elementary school in the district, with great attendance and high academics, it makes sense to bring more students into our school. To offer those students the opportunity to learn from the amazing teachers and staff, to harvest the food that they planted in their own beautiful garden, and to participate at the many family-centered events that would be an absolute honor. I know that when the board makes these impossible decisions, many students, families, teachers, and staff will be feeling a loss. I urge the board to consider the positive impact of keeping our school. And please know, every new family to our school will be celebrated as new members of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next, I have Joel Grogan, followed by Kristen Lavely, followed by Dulce Castellanos.
Good evening, Dr. Morales, members of the board, and my fellow community members. I'm honored to speak with you, and my heart is heavy for the difficult decisions you must make. Thank you for your hard work and service on behalf of our schools and our community. My name is Joel Grogan, and my children attend Proctor Terrace Elementary. In Attorney General Rob Bonta's letter addressing racial equity through school consolidation, he says, quote, "Students only benefit from school closures if they are reassigned to higher performing schools." According to the School Consolidations Committee's 25 criteria, including performance, Proctor ranks as the top school to remain open. Proctor also ranks #1 for diversity. We are proud of our diversity, and we want to welcome more students into our community. Our neighborhood school is also in an accessible, central location that is walkable and bikeable. While there are 4 schools located in the Alquist-Priolo seismic zone, this condition does not ban campus construction or renovation, but it requires geologic investigation prior to beginning work. A 2018 investigation at Proctor Terrace found no evidence of a fault. There is not enough time or information for the seismic zone to be the deciding factor for a school closure. If I could suggest one overarching strategy to you in this process, this would be it. A school can only close if its students can go to the next closest, higher performing school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Kristen Lavely, followed by Dulce Castellanos, followed by Olivia Rankin.
I'd like to support the concept of maintaining all public high schools being open. And this requires some very creative thinking and collaboration. One idea is partnering with the Roseland School District to house the Roseland Collegiate Prep on the Elsie Allen campus, which has 50% open capacity. If you're not aware, Roseland Prep is a successful academic public charter school. It houses 7th through 12th grades, and there will be 440 estimated school population next year. Currently, they have to pay to bus their children across our city to then rent space at Ursuline campus, which is a private Catholic school. This lease is up for renewal right now. In fact, they have a school board meeting right now tonight. So time is of the essence to really think about this partnership. This can bring revenue into our Santa Rosa City schools, keep students in their community with their peers rather than busing them across town, and save Roseland money from affording these expensive busing. What does this need? Collaboration between our superintendents, our school board, with Roseland School District and Santa Rosa City, as well as just as much community support between our school districts so that we can really think outside the box to maximize keeping public high schools open. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Dulce Castellanos, followed by Olivia Rankin, followed by Jaime Torres. Go ahead, Dulce.
Hello, my name is Dulce. I'm a student in the Counseling Enriched Program, or SEP for short. Students in this program have been through so much that they end up in that program as a last resort. LC is one of the schools that helps minority students. LC has so many programs and teachers that try their hardest to help and educate the students so that they are prepared to become adults. Some of those programs help and keep in touch with said students even after those students have graduated. I question how the district plans to help and educate all those kids and offer the same amount of help that LC has been offering. Every kid in LC is dealing with something, whether it be mentally, physically, and/or financially. The fact the district has mismanaged the money they are paid to manage correctly for the schools that teach future generations that might one day sit in your seats and have to deal with your mistakes is inexcusable. District administrators are paid a lot more than our teachers and staff are. I'm not saying that's unfair because your jobs are very important. However, money has been mismanaged, which is taking a toll on its students. If you had used that money wisely, we wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. I only found out about this because my teacher told me so. Otherwise, I would have been oblivious to the fact our high schools are on the chopping block. My mother doesn't speak English, which means that even if she were to be informed, she wouldn't be able to do anything other than let me know. I love my mom, and because of her and how she raised me alone, I learned to fight for what I believe in. And I believe LC is a great school that cares about their students and shouldn't be shut down. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dulce. Next, I have Olivia Rankin, followed by Jaime Torres, followed by Lisa DeCarbo.
Hello, my name is Olivia Rankin. I am a part of the Counseling and Bridges Program, or SEP. And I'm here to talk about my personal experience with Elsie Allen High and SEP. In my 4 years that I have been attending Elsie Allen High, I have been given some of the best opportunities and chances, including being in the FFA. I'm going to be speaking, I have been to speaking competitions throughout the year and getting to volunteer for a nonprofit animal shelter. Thank you to my counselor at the Counseling Enriched Program at LC. My class and I also completed a research action project centering on the issue of mental health, in which we conducted surveys of the community, including students, staff, and parents. We interviewed community experts as well. We used our data to take action on the issue by creating instructional materials for teachers and presenting our project and data at Sonoma State University and Elsie Allen staff meeting in order to advocate for mental health. This was made possible by at Elsie Allen. In conclusion, many other students and teachers at Elsie Allen High believe that this school should be considered to stay open because of the importance that it has to all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, I have Jaime Torres, followed by Lisa DeCarbo, followed by Adrian Sanchez.
Hi, this is actually Mel DeBray. Jaime had to leave, so if it's all right with everyone, I'll share on his behalf.
Go ahead.
So Jaime says, LC is one of the best schools that I've been to. It is very supportive of students like me in the Counseling Enriched program. The teachers are very patient and understanding. The teachers adapt to the needs of their classrooms and always find ways to make sure students are comfortable. LC Allen has the highest demographically diverse student population, which is really important to me because it makes me feel like I fit in. The district should be looking for other options than school closures and should keep all high schools open. Middle schools and elementary schools can be combined to save money. The 4 years in high school prepare you for what is next in your life, like college and getting a job. This time in our lives is more important than any other time. If you shut down an entire high school, it would cause chaos. It doesn't only affect students, it affects teachers and staff as well. Overall, I think that LC Allen and every high school should stay open and the district should explore other options.
Thank you. Next, I have Lisa DeCarbo, followed by Adrian Sanchez, followed by Jimena Higuera.
And all. My name is Lisa DeCarbo. I am a current veteran teacher and advocate at LC Allen High School, a cornerstone and beacon of light in Southwest Santa Rosa, as described by our first principal, Carnell Edwards. Beyond being an educational institution, LC Allen serves as a bridge connecting students, families, and organizations, fostering growth and unity within our community and beyond. Through teaching English and advising the student-led club Lobo Unity, my students and I have taken pride in delivering quality education, fostering leadership, and engaging with our community. Empowering students to lead and create effective, positive change, both locally and beyond, has always been my goal. Through project-based learning, volunteer work, and community building projects, we've strengthened bonds between our school and the broader community. The impact of such academic and community involvement is evident in LC Allen's history. When staff, students, families, and community members collaborate, academic performance improves, and students gain a stronger support system, fostering confidence and success. I have witnessed first-generation LC Allen students graduate high school and college and seen successful alumni businesses emerge, serving many of you and contributing to our shared prosperity. Thank you for this opportunity to share just a glimpse of LC Allen High School's promising future. I commend our students, especially all of those here tonight when they have final exams tomorrow morning. Students of the past and the present, whose resiliency inspires
Thank you,
me
Ms. DeCarbo.
every
Your
day
time
to
is up.
teach at the school I serve.
Thank you. Next, I have Adrian Sanchez, followed by Jimena Higuera, followed by Maverick Larios.
Good evening, school board. My name is Adrian Sanchez, and when I arrived at LC Allen High School my sophomore year from Roseland Collegiate Prep, To be closer to home, my parents and I were concerned about some of the things we have heard about the school. But we were very wrong. Elsie Allen is a cliche for do not judge a book by its cover. I see students calmly walking around campus, laughing and joking, or doing their own thing on their phone. Most are very polite and respectful, and all are guided by some of the most excellent and experienced teachers in the school district. You each should spend a couple days here on campus to see what it's like being a student, and I guarantee any misconceptions you may have had will be gone. Visiting Elsie Allen, you will see many resources helping and supporting kids with special needs. Staff here is filled with gifted people. Students who are academically or socially or medically challenged need their specialized care, which makes them feel included with the entire school population. All students learn side by side in classrooms and are not segregated from the rest of the school. With this understanding and patience, students are guided through high school to graduation where they all walk the stage together. Once here, please consider investing into our school rather than closing it. This would benefit not only students, but the students' families members who will attend in the future. Invest in Elsie Allen High School. We as Lobos will stand strong together and endure this together.
Thank you, Adrian. Next, I have Jimena Higuera, followed by Maverick Larios, followed by Claudia Castro. Jimena, go ahead.
Jimena Higuera. I am junior at LCL High School. I come here from Sinaloa, Mexico 1 year ago. I like learning at this high school very much, and I don't know want my school to close because it upsets our students of many classes for English language learners. First, LC Allen teachers and staff respect and upset all students regardless of their background or abilities. Equality, respect, and diversity are respect here values that help make an equal society. All students have educational opportunities to grow academically and personally. When I arrived at this school as immigrant, everyone accepted me. My Spanish language and the way I dressed did not matter that this was different from others. I feel very comfortable and upset by my classmates and teachers. They all supported me and helped me understand my classwork. This made me want to learn even more. My English is improving and I'm getting closer to graduating. This school is very important for not only immigrant students like me, but our students. We are want to graduate high school and LC Allen helps us achieve this. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jimena. Next, I have Maverick Larios, followed by Claudia Castro, followed by Ricardo Valiente. Go ahead, Maverick.
Good evening, board members. My name is Maverick Larios. I am a junior at LC Allen High School. Closing this school will be mentally challenging and traumatic for me and students. High school students who are less social may struggle to make friends, especially when changing schools. This change can lead to loss of long-term friendships, increasing anxiety and depression. Some students may become more introvert and withdraw, distancing themselves from family and school due to fear of forming new friendships that might be lost again. When changing schools, bullying may happen to people who aren't from the US or who do not speak English. LC Allen welcomes immigrants, Latinos, and non-English speakers, unlike other schools where Spanish is treated as secondary and often overlooked. When changing schools, I will feel scared, nervous, and worried because I don't know much English. Being in a new environment, I will avoid talking to other since I'm not very sociable and prefer to keep to myself to avoid conflicts, bullying, or bad jokes. To end, to close LC Allen High School would greatly affect many students' mental health. I ask you to consider the decision and find a solution that supports our diverse community and well-being. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Maverick. Next, I have Claudia Castro, followed by Ricardo Valiente, followed by Rosalba Galindo. Claudia, go ahead.
I am Claudia Castro, a junior at LC Allen High School. Okay. I had been at this school since my freshman year. I love my school. It is so close to my home and my younger sister's school as well. I do not want LC Allen to be closed for many reasons, and one especially is how complicated transportation will become. My parents bring my sisters and me to our schools. We take my sisters to ride charter school first and then drop me off at LC Allen. My parents then go to work. At the end of the school day, my parents pick up my sisters and then me, and then we drive home. Driving is a special time for our family. We talk about how our day was, what we learned, and what we will all do that weekend. This brings us closer together as a family. If you close my school, this will all be gone. My parents will not be able to drive us all over town and still get to their homes, to, the, sorry, to their jobs. Many of my friends now walk to LC Allen or take the city bus. To go a new school next year will take over 2 hours to walk and 3 hours on a city bus. LC Allen is the only school located in Southwest Santa Rosa. Keeping it open is smart for the school district to prevent students from going off the street school as a school like Roseland Prep. Please consider keeping LC Allen High School open. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Next, I have Ricardo Valiente, followed by Rosalba Galindo, followed by Ann Donovan.
Hello, board members. My name is Ricardo Valiente, and I am a student at LC Allen High School. Many of us students during the day and work on the night to improve our service and achieve our dreams. Closing LC Allen will stop us from reaching our goals. When I started here in 10th grade, I know literally English making communicate hard. My first teacher, Miss McLean, helped me a lot. Now I am senior year. Miss DiCarbo has been very helpful with my reading. Our teachers support students like me, help me us, and adjust to a new country and language. They care about our sausage, especially when we're from our family. Adapting to life in America is hard without English. We don't want to be bullied because of this, and teachers and students at LC Allen make sure that does not happen. They welcome us and all our difference. They listen us during some little times and boost our confidence. Please don't now close LC Allen High School. Many students like me work hard every day to have a great future and become safer people. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Rosalba Galindo, followed by Ann Donovan, followed by Emily Thompson.
Good evening, school board. My name is Rosalba Galindo, and I want to start saying that when I first arrived in this country, I was very happy. Originally, I only came for a visit to clear my mind because I had been going through a difficult situation in my home country. As months passed, I decided to stay and study here because for the first time in a long time, I was able to feel better regarding my depression and my personal problems. I genuinely feel safe and in peace with myself. Over time, I made the decision to stay and study here at Elsie Allen High School. The possible closure of Elsie Allen High School will mean having to leave my studies in this country. My parents are in Mexico, so I am under the care of my aunt, who has her own responsibilities. It will be very difficult for her to take me to another school with her job. My parents will take me back to Mexico if I had to transfer schools. As we don't want to bother my aunt or cause her any worries. I really want to graduate from Elsie Allen. I have goals I want to achieve, and I'm sure that many of my friends and classmates do too. I have worked very hard just to be okay with myself and to have the motivation for move forward. But closing the school will make everything fall apart so easily. The teachers at the school have helped me in so many ways, for which I am extremely grateful, and I want to reach graduation alongside them. I can only ask that you take my opinions into account when making your decisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosa. Next, I have Ann Donovan, followed by Emily Thompson, followed by Nicole Guest.
Good evening. My name is Ann Donovan. I was a counselor at Elsie Allen High School in the first years after its inception. I have worked actually in several high schools over the years, but under the leadership of Carnell Edwards, who opened the school, a very unique, supportive, and collaborative school culture was built, and that still thrives today. Families are invited and encouraged to be part of the broader Elsie Allen community. They come to campus, they collaborate, they embrace their son and daughter's teachers as part of their child's supportive circle. Families at Elsie become an essential part of the fabric of this school. I have not experienced this in other high schools or in other parts of the country that I have lived and worked as a school counselor. Students at Elsie have more than just a school. They have a diverse community of students that reflects and embraces them, a team of caring adults who encourage and push them to find their personal potentials. I saw evidence of this in counseling students year after year after year. Many first-generation students went to college because for the first time, they believed in themselves and their ability to accomplish. All students left with a foundation of values, character, and confidence that this unique place, Elsie Allen, instilled in them. Elsie Allen is a special place and has been since the first day that it opened. I encourage you to keep the doors open so that other students may also realize its exceptionalism. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Emily Thompson, followed by Nicole Guest, followed by Angel Ortega.
Hello, my name is Emily Thompson, and I would like to share a little bit about why Elsie Allen is special to me. I first started working at Elsie Allen in the fall of 2019 as an instructional assistant to the special education department. I started this job as a means to get closer to my goal of working in public health for what I went to school for. However, after starting Elsie Allen, I quickly realized how amazing it was and the students that were there and switched my career path. I went back to school, got my credential, and applied to be a teacher. Elsie Allen was the only high school I applied to because of this. Our students are so amazing, and the love that they bring to our community and school were the #1 reason why I switched my career. They continue to bring this love and beauty every day. As soon as you step foot on our campus, you will realize how special our school is. Our staff support and show up for our incredibly talented students, like our mariachi band and our football team that just went to nationals. Our students teach us things every day, constantly. Our students prove each day that they and our school are so much more than the rumors that are spread about us. Thank you for allowing me to talk about my school, Elsie Allen.
Thank you. Next, I have Nicole Guest, followed by Angel Ortega, followed by Andy Lieberman.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Guest, and I'm a counselor at Elsie Allen High School. When I joined the staff at Elsie Allen, I was welcomed in the most warm and genuine way. I believe that all Elsie Allen students experienced the same welcome and support that I did, whether they're a new ninth grader or a newcomer to the United States. Elsie Allen welcomes all people, regardless of race, socioeconomic class, gender, country of origin, and I could go on. Elsie Allen provides a safe learning environment for students. For many of our students, Elsie Allen may be the only safe place they have to go during their day. And for others, a staff member may be the only safe and trusted adult that a student has in their life. Our staff is passionate about helping students learn, survive, and hopefully thrive by the time they are graduating. Our school provides stability and structure, relationships and connection, educational and extracurricular experiences for all students. As a counselor, I see students striving to overcome challenges to learn new things, whether that be playing a new instrument, trying a new sport, or taking an honors class for the very first time. Our students are superheroes. They persevere in ways that many of us cannot even imagine. Elsie Allen is a pillar in our students' lives, in the lives of their families and of the community. Please keep us open so that our students can keep pursuing their goals and dreams. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Angel Ortega, followed by Andy Lieberman, followed by Patricia Hurtado.
Hello, my name is Angel Ortega. I'm a softball and soccer coach and office staff at Elsie Allen. Whenever we host home games for softball, I arrive at campus at 6:30 in the morning to water and drag the infield and chalk the foul lines. I do this because contrary to recent misconceptions, Elsie Allen actually doesn't get any favoritism from the school board or district, and we gotta work on these things ourselves. Once I finish the field, I begin my workday in the office at Elsie with my mind at ease that the field is set for the afternoon. My hands may get calloused and I may feel a little tired, but I would do it all again because I love Elsie Allen and I love my kids. High schools are pillars of their respective communities and they must remain open. Remember that, school board, come February. Shout out Elsie Allen and shout out to all my kids that live in Southwest Santa Rosa, Sebastopol Road, Moreland, Corby, and Santa Rosa Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Andy Lieberman, followed by Patricia Hurtado, followed by Jeremy Arnold.
Hello, my name is Andy Lieberman, and I was born and raised in Sonoma County. The year was 2012, and after a 14-year detour in SoCal, I decided it was time to come home. Within a week of securing the vice principal position at Elsie Allen, I fell in love with my new job and new school. With nearly 20 schools where I've worked and volunteered, none of them captured my heart the way Elsie did. You see, Elsie has a unique student body. Most of these kids come from adverse conditions. I won't go into the numbers of socioeconomic, ELD, special ed, etc. But I will say never have I been anywhere where the kids have more heart, soul, and just plain perseverance. That is due to them, but also the community that Elsie has fostered with its caring staff, classified and certificated alike. Many kids at Elsie will tell you things like, I never believed I could go to college. I'm the first one in my family to graduate. I probably wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for. The staff works together and has learned how to support these students in a way that they would probably not be supported elsewhere. Closing down the school is not in alignment with the primary goal that all of us in education should swear by, to do what is best for students. That said, I want to be very clear. I'm not here to say don't shut down Elsie, shut down another high school instead. Any school closure is not good for kids, and the damage goes up exponentially when it's a high school closure. Lastly, I implore you to look at less drastic and more sustainable measures. The school district has had a habit of spending more money than it has, and often without a systemic plan and budget that is aligned. Before we go down this road and do long-term psychological damage to students who have already been through so much, including 2 major fires and COVID, let's dig deep and look at ways to be more fiscally responsible. Though I do not have time in this forum, I can easily show some documented examples where hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent that could have been saved if upper management had listened to some of the suggestions of middle-level management. Let's do what we are supposed to do and do what's best for kids and use our money wisely. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Patricia Hurtado, followed by Jeremy Arnold, followed by Catherine Howell.
My name is Patricia Hurtado. I teach at LCLN High School. I'm going to read a letter that one of my students in my public health class wrote. My name is Elisette Gallegos, and I am a senior at LCLN High School. Before coming to LCLN, I attended Pioneer High for about 2 years, but left due to the lack of support from staff and negative environment at the school. I know it might be surprising that I consider LC a better place, especially given its reputation. But to be completely honest, one major difference between the two schools is the community. Here at LC, I have found myself more involved in school activities and the community than I was at Pioneer. I don't feel left out or out of place because I have peers who look and talk like me. Pioneer High offers good programs, such as taking classes at the JC, but LC offers the best resources and opportunities. I was able to get my CNA certification, and not only did I take classes at the JC, but I also had a chance to take classes at Sonoma State. The resources here at LC are endless. There is something for everyone, and the teachers are excellent at encouraging students to take advantage of them. The teachers at LC are amazing and incredibly patient with everyone. We have students from diverse backgrounds, and the teachers are excellent at being understanding and going above and beyond to accommodate their needs. The teachers at Pioneer were also great, and I won't say anything negative about them, but here at LC Allen, it feels more like a big family because the teachers truly understand the students. Closing LC will negatively impact the students currently enrolled. Placing these students in different schools will not only break up the relationships they build with their peers and teachers, but it will also break up the community they've established. It's important to recognize that not everyone has access to cars or public transportation. Many Spanish-speaking students either don't understand how to use public transportation or aren't familiar with it, making it difficult to get to school.
Thank you, Ms. Hurtado. Your time is up. Next, I have Jeremy Arnold, followed by Catherine Howell, followed by Tanya Hoffman.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Morales. My name is Jeremy Arnold. I have the privilege of serving CSEA, California School Employees Association, Chapter 75, Santa Rosa, as its labor relations representative, in addition to 11 other chapters here in Sonoma County. Chapter 75 has been a labor partner in Santa Rosa City Schools since 1977. I want to welcome our new board members and recognize the risk that you took to step into this position, the sacrifices that you will make for the good of the kids and the community. This is what CSEA members do every day, right? We take risks, we make sacrifices for the good of the kids and the community. I appreciated the year in review, 2024. Unfortunately, neglected to mention the ongoing labor dispute we have started in August. It seems even now, after all we've done in this room, after all the stories you've heard, CSEA members still are overlooked, forgotten, papered over. Believe it or not, school closures is not the most pressing issue before you. Classified employees have been working without a contract since November 1st. We showed up to bargaining in June, ready to make a deal. Here we are in December, there's no deal in sight. We've been crystal clear since day one that our members would accept nothing less than a fair and equitable raise when compared to the certificated unit. The proposal your bargaining team has put on the table is a small fraction of fair and equitable any way you measure it. It is not a serious proposal. You should be asking your team to explain to you why they think a majority of CSEA members will vote for their proposal. And if they don't have a convincing answer for you, it's not a serious proposal. My friend, SRTA President Catherine Howell spoke and said that CSEA needs not just equality, we need more. I couldn't agree more. We're looking at January tariffs. That's going to add 75 up to
Thank you,
75
Mr.
cents
Arnold.
a
Your time is
gallon.
up. Thank you, Mr. Arnold. Next, I have Catherine Howell, followed by Tanya Hoffman, followed by Adina Flores.
Good evening, President McNally, Superintendent Morales, members of the board. Welcome to our new board members. I'm Catherine Howell, President of Santa Rosa Teachers Association. I want to ask you, President McNally, to please keep in mind that in addition to the school closures, we're looking at about $8 million worth of staff cuts, and teachers are very much on the edge. Former trustee Flores at the last board meeting asked staff to please investigate a retirement incentive for our certificated staff, our educators. And I would like, now that he has left the board, to remind the current board to please continue to investigate this. Let's try to minimize the loss of teachers as much as we can. Our students need qualified teachers in their classrooms, and they need to keep the student-teacher ratios as good as we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you, President Howell. Next, I have Tanya Hoffman, followed by Adina Flores, followed by Madonna Feathercruz.
Good evening, board. My name is Tanya Hoffman. I'm a family physician in the community, a parent, and I'm advocating for my two sons, age 9 and 12, that go to Proctor Terrace Elementary. I understand that you guys have a tough decision to make, and I was at the SCAC committee meeting and witnessed how much stress and burden they're undergoing, having to make ranking decisions. And I want to speak to a criterion that actually hasn't been part of the 25 that have been looked at very closely. And the criterion that I think is really important, and this is from prior to my life as a physician, as a AmeriCorps parent engagement volunteer in Texas, is parent engagement. One of the most important criteria that has been neglected thus far is parent involvement and community engagement for each school. This is one of the most important factors, and there's lots of evidence and lots of data in education, research, and articles that show that parent engagement is an incredible marker of academic success. This is a very easily measurable thing. You can go to beamentor.org, measure a number of volunteers for each school. This is an important factor. Proctor Terrace has 1 parent volunteer to every 2 children. This is another factor to consider when you're looking at other schools, and whether you're trying to decide whether to break up a fabric of a community or not, is how invested and engaged parents in the community and community sponsors are. Community sponsorship is another thing that can be looked at, PTA enrollment. This is something that transcends socioeconomic status. This is something that transcends race. And so this is something to pay attention to, because it really doesn't matter. It's not an issue about equity, just something to pay attention to when you're making your decision. Another factor I'd like to speak about is the
Thank you,
fault
Ms.
line.
Hoffman. Your time is up.
Maybe next time.
Next, I have Adina Flores, followed by Madonna Feathercruz, followed by David Chen. Is Adina Flores here? I will come back to her at the end. Is Madonna Feathercruz here? I will come back to her at the end. So then we have David Chen, followed by Robin Sanchez, followed by Scott Kincaid.
President McNally, dear trustees, my name is David Chen, President of community-based organization Skyhawk United. Make no mistake, previous board or boards have made many mistakes and have lost trust from our community. They removed SROs from all our schools. They maintain the staffing level consistent when enrollment has been decreasing over the last 10 years. And they gave the school closing / consolidation committee a mandate for a 3-1-1 closing scheme without any input from the community. Dear board, especially those new trustee members, welcome and thank you on behalf of the community for your service. Mr. Medina, thank you for reaching out to me. For the public records, I'd like you to confirm that you will recuse yourselves from all and any discussions about closing or consolidating any one of the high schools. The public community needs more transparency. The community needs a fair input into this whole process. Thank you, Mr. Medina, for confirming
Thank you,
that
Mr. Chen.
will
Your time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Next, I have Robin Sanchez, followed by Scott Kincaid, followed by Shayna Kirk.
Hi, I'm Robin Sanchez, and I currently attend Alcy Allen High School as a senior. And as many students, Alcy Allen is my home away from home. It is a place where I go to feel safe, and if I ever need help, I know I can find it there. If you close Alcy Allen, you would be closing my home and my dreams to hopefully one day work on the staff as a teacher. When I first started my freshman year, I was unmotivated and had no dreams of my future, but the teachers that I had along my years motivate me to keep going and to not give up. Some even helped me figure out what I wanted to do with my future. So I'm here as a student of Alcy Allen High School to ask you to not close down our school, not for me, but for the future students that will need a school like Alcy Allen one day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Scott Kincaid, followed by Shayna Kirk.
Good evening, board. Scott Kincaid. I'm here to talk about something that has been overshadowed by school closures, which is rightfully so, but I'm happy that one of the board members mentioned that this board needs to continue with the regular course of business that a board must conduct even in the eye of school closures. I want to talk about school safety and school resource officers. I was going to bring a birthday cake tonight because it's been a year since this board approved a pilot program to be explored and started conferring with the city of Santa Rosa on said program. There is a MOU that's been drafted. To my knowledge, it's ready to come to this board for a vote. I know there's no funding for the program. That doesn't mean this board cannot vote on a program and say that they want the program and allow us community members to go find federal, state, and other grant opportunities to fund the program. This board, our community, quite frankly, has become numb to guns on campus, gang fights on campus. It happens so regularly that the only response from administration is a very benign email to have conversations with your children. That's not cutting it, and we cannot continue to operate this way. Things are only going to get more chaotic with school closures. There's going to be needed to be more community members on campuses, particularly at the high school level. I implore this board to take action as soon as humanly possible in moving the school resource officer program forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Shayna Kirk, and then I'll call one more time for Adina Flores and Madonna Feather Cruz.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Good evening to Dr. Morales and the board members. My name's Shayna, and I'm a Santa Rosa City School parent and community member. So realistic concerns about timing. I was there at the committee meeting Monday. It was abundantly clear that the members
are not only drowning in data, but they need time to interpret it and make an informed recommendation to the board. I do appreciate that Clerk De La Torre and Director Caston's comments to this point. Thank you so much for pointing that out. The meetings have been happening since August, but the public has just pretty recently been put on notice, and they're not happy, as we all know. They want answers, they want to be included in the solutions, and back to the meeting on Monday. It did give me life seeing my fellow community members speaking up passionately and with love for their schools. If we try to silence the public simply because it's not convenient for timing's sake, you risk continuing to rupture trust by asking the community to speak their hearts, but then saying, no, not like that, shutting it down to 20 minutes. Sure, email that in. But we love to hear each other speaking the things that we all are feeling in common and knowing publicly what all these things are happening and how we can help together. This is not a situation that the community created. This tight timeline that remains is something that you can figure out or extend. You do have that power. Let the public continue to speak their hearts and find ways to engage them actively. We can do this. So thank you.
Thank you. Is Adina Flores here? Is Madonna Feathercruz here? Do we have any other blue cards?
There are no other blue cards, President McNally.
Then that concludes public comment on non-agenda items. We will move to our E item, and the board will recess to close session. Do I hit the? Now reconvening to open session. Reports of actions taken in closed session. The board voted unanimously to extend the meeting to 11 p.m. No other actions were taken. Superintendent, any last announcements? All right, meeting adjourned.